Thank you, and you are now tuned in to the More to Me podcast with Akilah. Well, your host, Akilah. This is my first episode, so bear with me as I'm learning the steps and learning what I need to do to make this a successful podcast. So, this first episode is just going to be an introduction to your host, what my intentions are for this podcast, and hoping to reach the audience and to the designated audience, I should say. So I'm going to first start off with saying my name. My name is Akilah, Big Keela. I'm 23 years old. I'm an Aquarius. My birthday is January 31st, even though some of that really wouldn't even matter at this point. But, some people just want to know who they're listening to. So there you go. Big Aquarius. You already know the vibes. I attend the illustrious Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, October 3rd, 1887. Yo! Everybody know that. That's the thing. We have a family, It's just a family or rather thing, baby. But, yeah, so I attend FAMU. Right now, I'm currently residing in Tallahassee, as many may know. But, my main intentions for starting this podcast really was just, I guess, God put this on me to kind of start a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily say that it wasn't me, it was him. And it was just one day, God spoke it upon me to just start this podcast. Like, he just wanted me to start it. It was just the calling. Like, I just felt the presence to just start this podcast. And I guess it would kind of stem from my religious background. I was raised Southern Baptist, but now I'm at a non-denominational church. And I guess it would be from, just that is my typical upbringing. I don't necessarily want to associate with just any different thing, but I am Christian. I am. And I'll often kind of be referring to my Christian background a little bit within these episodes. And you'll kind of get to know me a little bit more. Some things about me. I'm very, very family oriented. I love my family to the highest extent. Anybody that know me knows that I'm very, very protective over my family, especially my best friends, which I consider them my family. So they're kind of, they intertwine with one another. But love my family. I'm a very family-oriented person. Number one for me. Number two would be I'm very passionate with whatever I set my mind to. Most people know that. If I'm not passionate towards it, more than likely you're not going to see me doing it. It's Aquarius. We don't follow the rules. We're very rebellious, but, I'm very passionate with whatever I put my mind into. Another thing would be I'm very blunt. A lot of the things that you're going to hear me speak about and talk about, it will come off very blunt, very aggressive, but I definitely have good intentions with whatever comes out of my mouth, with whatever. There's no type of negativity that's going to go towards it. It's good vibes. I just want to bring good vibes to people. I don't want to be that type of person that's always mean and always coming off with some, negativity. I'm on a whole different vibe right now. I don't even want to be in no parts of that. But, so I'm definitely very blunt. So a lot of the episodes you're going to hear me, but that's just how I am. Everybody knows that, especially my family, that I'm very blunt and I'm very unfiltered. But I'm going to try to be filtered for this podcast because most of the time I'm always cussing outside of this. So I'm going to try to die down just a little bit because I know how I am. I know how I am in the real world. So I'm going to try to filter it just a little bit. Because I know I got some aunties and uncles listening to this podcast and watching this podcast. So I got to be very selective with what I say. But we going to get through it. So yeah, I'm very a little bit unfiltered. But like I said, we're going to readjust that. So the main, like I said, I'm very blunt, very oriented, family oriented. I should say I'm very family oriented. I should say like I'm mostly also a good advice giver. Like if there's anybody that needs any type of advice, I'm always usually the one that people really go to look for that. So it's another thing that you guys will get to experience on this podcast. Like I'm probably gonna open like a channel or open like a section for you guys to like ask for advice, and I'll help out as best as I can. So that's as far as that's gonna go. Like I said, we just starting out this episode 1. This is just an introduction to your host, so you know who you're listening to, and you know if you want to vibe or not. But we just gonna make sure this is an okay thing. So, another thing. What's another thing? What is another thing? I'm trying to think of some good things to say. You know, introduction. My favorite color is blue. I don't know if that really makes a difference as to anything, but like my favorite color is blue. Any type of shade of blue, love blue. So probably might relate to some of the audiences, but you know, we're just gonna go forward. But yeah, my favorite color is blue. I love blue. Any type of shade of blue, it's my favorite. Yeah. Oh, I'm obviously from Florida, from Broward County. You already know the vibes. If anybody doesn't know where that's from, that is South Florida, right in between West Palm Beach, and right before Miami, and the lovely city of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Broward, baby. Most people might relate to it, but you know, I definitely gotta stamp the 954 because we on the map. But yeah, but you know, I was born in Plantation, Florida, but I was raised in Cold Springs for the majority of my life. Even though some people may say that's the suburbs, but you know, my mama had to make something. She had to make something shake. But yeah, so and I graduated from Cold Glades High School, which is in Cold Springs. If anybody is like wondering where that is, so graduated from the Glades. Obviously went to BC, did a couple years, got my associates, and I ended up moving to obviously Florida A&M University. So that's all about me. What are some other things that I do want to announce as an introduction? Obviously, I have 2 sisters. One is the oldest from my dad's side of the family, and then my second sister is the youngest to me on my mom's side of the family. So kind of have older. I'm like in the middle. I'm the middle child, but I'm kind of the last and the first. You know, my parents just had to be complicated. They act like they couldn't have a second one with me, but you know how that goes. But yeah, so I'm basically the middle child. So if anybody can relate, the middle child syndrome is very real. Very real. So everybody know what that is. If you know what that is, we right here. So yeah. Definitely have 2 sisters. And I have a cousin that was practically raised with me. So I consider him my brother, but he's really my cousin. So I kind of have a sister and a brother in the household. Yeah, type stuff. Sister and a brother. Um, what is another thing? Because I don't want it to just seem like I'm just making this, just make this. I'm really very passionate about making this podcast because I want to reach people. I want them to understand that they are not alone in this thing we call life. I don't want people to feel like they're alone in this thing we call life, because at the end of the day, we all go through challenges in life, and we all go through it a certain way. Sometimes we go through it a similar way, sometimes we go through it different ways, but at the end, we all go through life. So, like I said, what is another thing? Oh, let me get into the reason why I started this podcast. That's rule number one. Is the reason why I started. I started this podcast because I just felt like, since I'm going through this healing journey, which I started April 1st of 2022, I just felt like, for me personally, I feel a huge difference from me back in April 1st to now, September 7th. Like, I see the huge drastic change, and that's just for me healing and me just being by myself and me learning myself all over again outside of a relationship. But the main purpose of me starting this podcast is to reach the people that I wouldn't want to say is having a hard time, but is definitely feeling the effects of trauma, childhood trauma, abandonment issues, trust issues. What's another thing? Lover girl issues. Like, I've been through it all, and I just want to reach to those people that really have those problems and what they're going through, because it's hard. I've been through it. I have. Like, if I was to write a book about my life, it probably would go be a bestseller, because I've been through some stuff in life. So I made this podcast specifically for those people that really have a hard time figuring out their way through life, and I kind of want to help them, even though I'm necessarily not a life coach, because I'm not a life coach. I don't want to claim that I'm a life coach. I don't want to claim that I'm a therapist, but this is just as real as it's going to get from a 23-year-old that's still trying to figure herself out, that's still trying to figure out what she wants to do with herself and where does she see herself going. Like, this is just a raw, authentic, real life individual that is just trying to get through life with you guys. So it's just like, in a way, this podcast is created to kind of help people that's healing, in a way, or that's trying to start healing, because it's not easy. Like, I would be a fool to sit here and say that healing is easy, and it's not. I promise you, you're going to have some days where you want to give up. You're going to have some days where you're crying yourself to sleep. You're going to have some days where you're angry at yourself because of what you put yourself through in life. And it's just, at the end of the day, you got to get through the pain to get to the peace. And I can tell you right now, I am at peace with a lot of stuff that I went through in my past, with everything that has happened to me, with a whole bunch of stuff that I've gone through. I am at peace. And this healing has definitely helped me a lot. And when I say a lot has helped me a lot. So this is kind of the reason why I started this podcast, or just had this calling, and God just wants me to do his work, for me to put my words out there to help the next person and help the person after them and so forth. So this is kind of the reason why I started More to Me, in a way to help those that need it the most, those that are terrified of therapy, those are like very hesitant to get help. And trust me, I've been there. I'm a product of it, because trust me, life was not easy for me. So I know how it is for those out there that is having a hard time trying to figure out their way through life. So I get it. I do. But definitely made this podcast in a way to help me too. Not just to help people, but just to help me too. Just try to figure myself out. Trying to understand that there's more to me. I have a purpose out here, and my purpose is to help people. I've always been this way since a child. Like, I've always had this perception that I always had to help people. Like, with me, I've always been the type of person, if somebody needed help, I was quick to jump and help them. Like, I had this cemetery, like, personality to help. So, as I'm older now, I'm starting to see that that is what it is, and it's transpiring into that kind of dynamic. So, this is kind of the step one for me, to help out, to do what I need to do, to make sure that I can help out as best as possible. So, this is, I guess, my form of helping and doing God's work. So, this is as far as it's gonna go. But like I said, with this podcast, this is just episode 1. This is just an introduction to me. Even though I'm pretty sure there's more things that'll come out eventually as each episode goes on, revealing things about me and discovering and unwrapping a lot of stuff for this podcast. But yeah, we're gonna get through we're gonna be like some onions and just peeling back the layers, because it's just layers of stuff that we got to unpeel. So it's gonna be this is just a fresh thing for me, a fresh start, because most of the time, like, I never would have sat here and expressed a lot of the things that I went through. Like, I just was never that type of child. Like, as a child, all of my problems I just bottled up because I never was able to express them out loud in a way, if certain people could understand. Like, I just was never able to express, to verbally say how I was feeling, because no one cared. No one cared. I didn't have no one to sit there and talk me through things. Like, I had to bottle everything up, and eventually that manifested into something negative as an adult. And it's just like, I wanted to change that dynamic, because most people know me as to be quiet and reserved. And if I have anything going on, like, I just bottle it up and bottle it and bottle. And that's not healthy. That is not healthy. I am here to tell you guys that that is not healthy. It's not. It's better to talk things out to someone that you can trust, to somebody that you know can reciprocate the same energy you give. It's not healthy. It's not good to bottle things up. And I'm learning that as an adult, and I'm refraining from doing that. So, listen to me when I tell you, do not bottle things up. It's not healthy. So, this is just another milestone for me. Definitely another milestone for me is doing this podcasting and expressing myself and being open and being vulnerable. Like, I've never been the type to go through that. So, this is just a fresh start. And like I said, this is just an introduction to episode 1, which is an introduction to me. I mean, yeah, so, I'm just very proud of myself. Like, people that know me, my family that knows me, knows that this is a huge, huge, huge accomplishment for me. Because I do not express myself at all. I don't turn to people for help. I have a hard time of doing it. I'm very, very independent. That's another thing. I'm very independent. And that hurts me a lot of most of the time. Because times when I really, really need help and I don't speak up, it ends up manifesting into something else that's not really good. And at the end of the day, it cuts my blessings. Because there'll be somebody that's right there, and I'm like so stubborn, and I'm in my head like, oh yeah, I can do this on my own. I got this on my own. And really, there's somebody that's right there that can literally help me with all of my problems. And I'm just sitting there blocking my blessings. Like, it's not good. It's not good to block your blessings at all. By far, it's not. I promise you, it's not. But yeah. So make sure it's still recording. So I just definitely want to say, like, nobody's alone in this situation. Like, most people feel like they're not heard, but you are definitely heard. For some time, I felt like I wasn't heard. until it took me like dealing with the hardest thing in life by myself that I was heard. It took me actually sitting down and like focusing on the fact that even though, yes, you deal with your challenges by yourself, there's always somebody else that has walked a mile in your shoe, or there's somebody that literally walked in your shoes before at one point, maybe a little earlier than you, but they've experienced the same thing. And you just got to learn how to accept the fact that you haven't dealt with that by yourself, and you're not alone by far. You're not alone. There's multiple things that you probably have gone through life that somebody else has went through, and you can turn to them and ask them how they dealt with this situation, or how can you move forward from this situation. Like, none of your situations you probably have figured out on your own. There's somebody else in this world, or that you may come across, that have experienced the same exact thing, and it only takes you just opening up and just trusting in somebody to know that you haven't gone through this by yourself, or you're not by yourself in this world. That's all it takes. It's just you giving, a little piece of yourself. Not the whole thing, not too much, but just a little bit. Give a little bit of yourself to open up, to be vulnerable in whatever situation that you're going through. But I'm here to say that you're not by yourself. I thought that I was by myself for 23 years in this world, and come to find out there's multiple people on this planet that has gone through the same experience, or that has dealt with these same issues. Like, it takes maturity, it takes growing up, it takes courage to get to where I'm at now. And I'm not saying I'm fully healed, but I'm definitely healing. It's been 5 long months. I can say that as much. It's been very, very long 5 months. But I'm here to help the next person start their healing journey, to get to the point where I'm at in peace. Because I've reached peace. Like, I don't think I've gotten as far as I had if I had not started my healing journey, if anybody couldn't understand what I'm saying. But the real know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I definitely am glad that I've started this healing journey. And like I said, this is just the beginning. There's more to unravel and peel back the layers of. Like I said, this is just the onion phase. We're just peeling back layers of trauma and unhealed business, and get into the nitty and gritty of things. So that's just a little small introduction to me. I'm pretty sure within the next few episodes we're gonna get more into the main basis of the healing and all that other stuff that comes with it. But this is just episode 1 of us getting to know me, getting to know who you're listening to, so you're not just tuned in to somebody that's just talking foolishness. Like, no, I don't want anybody to experience that, because I've been through it. I've been through experiences where I was just sitting listening to people that weren't feeding my soul and feeding my spirit with good things. That's not me. I want to get to a point where I'm feeding people good things that could help them, that could possibly change their life. I don't want to be that type of person to just keep feeding negativity and all that stuff. That's not me. I don't even like that type of vibe. Like, I'm a very high vibrational person. I don't even want negativity towards me. Like, stay over there on that side. Don't want it near me. Very vibrational person. That's just me. I can't help it. It is what it is. But yeah, so hopefully within these next couple of months or couple of weeks, actually, my podcasting skills get a little bit better because, you know, I'm a rookie in the game. I'm a rookie, so we'll see how it goes. But, like I said, this is just an introduction to me. Yeah, hopefully you guys will get to know me a little bit better as we continue on these episodes, and I'll have guest speakers and guest people to come on to help you guys with your healing and helping you guys with understanding their way through life and my way through life so that they can help you with your way of life. And so we're just going to end off this episode with a little peaceful acknowledgement that whatever you're going through currently in your life right now, that you're not going to go through this by yourself. If I can help as best as I can with helping you guys and helping you guys take the next step into doing what's important for you to move forward, to be able to have a happy life, or to help you have a joyful life, where you're not constantly wondering about who's going to come into your life. Like, I just want everybody to get to a place where they're happy, where they're joyful, where they're at peace, because it takes a long time to reach. I'm not even going to lie. It takes time. Everything takes time. Nothing good comes easy. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that before. Nothing good comes easy. So you guys have to get to a point where you have to make those milestones, make those steps, even though it's not easy. It'll be hard sometimes, but you just have to do what you have to do to get to those stepping stones to reach happiness, to reach peace, to reach joy. So I just want to start off, or end off actually, with saying you guys aren't alone, like I said before. And if there's anything that I can do, or any type of suggestions that I could to further improve my podcasting skills, I would greatly appreciate that. And if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, or how you guys feel, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you guys are feeling, like, and I'm more than willing to help in any way that I can, because at a certain point, I never had the help. I didn't have it. I didn't have the help, so I just want to help those and let those people know that they have help, that they have me to get to where they want to go and reach those type of milestones that I'm reaching and that I have achieved already, and that I plan on reaching further milestones. So, like I said, it's only episode 1, getting to know me a little bit more, getting to know who you're listening to. And so far, I'm praying that we can be able to get into deeper levels of understanding with one another. Like I said, this is not for me. This is to help those that are silent, that needs the help, that's reaching out for help and they don't have, because they just are so stuck within themselves that it takes somebody else to help them reach that point. It's understandable. But I'm hoping and praying that this is a good thing, that I can actually touch a couple people in good, positive ways, because that is my main purpose, is to reach somebody. Even if it's one person, I would not mind. I'm not doing this for anything else but to help, because I'm a very helpful person. So, like I said, we're going to end off this podcast. This is only the first episode, and we have so much more to open up and endure together. So, next Wednesday will be another podcast that's posted, and I hope you guys will be tuned in to More Than Me with your host, Akilah. Thank you, and hope to hear from you guys and speak from you guys next Wednesday. Thanks again, and have a great day.